Hi everybody, it's Kristianna Mrjenovich, your second chance queen, and tonight we have a super special guest all the way from Australia. Her name is Isabelle Kratz, and she is the newly crowned Miss Teen Galaxy Australia 2025. Isabelle Kratz is an 18-year-old international model, entrepreneur, and mental health advocate who's passionate about making a difference as your Miss Teen Galaxy Australia 2025. As the founder of For Every Beautiful Body, she's creating a platform that uplifts girls and women through honest conversations about body image, bullying, and mental health struggles. She also proudly supports Batir, a youth mental health charity helping to smash the stigma and the elephant in the room. Whether she's on the runway or behind the mic, Isabelle is all about empowering the next generation to lead with confidence, kindness, and courage. I am super excited to talk to Isabelle tonight because our platforms are extremely similar. So please join me in welcoming your Miss Teen Galaxy Australia 2025, Isabelle Kratz. Welcome to the Second Chance Queen podcast. I'm super excited to have you on tonight.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I would love to get started off by hearing your pivotal second chance moment. If you could think back to the second chance that really changed your life, what does that look like for you?
I was bullied throughout the years of 13 to 15 during high school, and that really put a shock on my mental health as a young teenager. I was bullied physically, emotionally, and mentally for a number of years by a number of people, online and in person. So it was quite a tough moment for me and something that I honestly didn't think I'd ever make it out of. So having the pageantry scene and the support system that I've had through that has really helped me turn a corner in that moment, but really has helped me grow as a person as well. And so if I didn't have my family, if I didn't have the sister queens that I had all around the world and Australia to connect everyone outside of my hometown and outside of being on that online bullying space, don't actually know if I'd be sitting here today in front of you. So I think for me, having those key people that reach out to me and say, hey, you're doing a good job, or hey, everything's going to be okay, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, was something that I never knew that I really needed in that moment. But looking back, if I didn't have those people, as I said, I don't know where I would be today. So I think that was a big second chance kind of turning point for me in going I'm now here doing all of these amazing things and inspiring other people. If I just didn't have those few key people reach out to me whenever they could, I don't know where anyone in my life would be, including me. So I think that was my big second chance moment, was going, I have these amazing people that really love me and support me, and people that don't really know me at all making comments on my appearance and what I'm doing with my life and being successful don't really mean anything.
I haven't had anybody answer people being a support system as a second chance, and that is so unique. I love that. That's an amazing way to think about it. So kudos to you. I think that's really important. And I know a lot of the work that you do now involves confidence as well as kindness and those anti-bullying measures. My platform is extremely similar to yours, so I'm super excited to talk tonight. But before we get started into the grit of why you won your crown, I would love to hear what drew you to the Galaxy system and to learn a little bit more about your recent crowning moment. What was that like for you?
So I competed in Galaxy in 2024 also and came out with being in the top 3 in the teen division. And that girl thought she had all the self-love in the world. She thought she was so ready for the crown. I worked so hard, but I also had a lot going on in my life that, looking back, I'm really grateful that that wasn't my time, because I've grown so much as a person just this past year and really found my purpose outside of my businesses and who I am. I've really found how I want to connect with people on a deeper level, and that it has obviously been done through my platform and what I will continue to do. But I didn't have any of that drive or kind of outlook a year ago. I had different views and outlooks and things that I wanted to do, but nothing as impactful and meaningful as I have now and what I've worked so hard to grow these past few months. So The Galaxy system really drew me in because of their sisterhood. As I said, I was bullied and I've been competing in pageantry for the past 8 years. So it's something that's been around in my life for a long time now, and something that I have grown so many beautiful friendships through. But Galaxy being all about the sisterhood essentially and having so much emphasis on that really drew me to it. And I have had so many beautiful friends come out of Galaxy, and I can't wait to obviously meet all the international queens too. I'm sure I will be so close with them by the end of the week as well. But something else that drew me to Galaxy was their motto, especially in Australia Galaxy pageants, be the best version of yourself. And that's something that I was really striving for because I am very determined. I'm very passionate about everything that I do. But I feel like I have always really struggled to separate who I am away from the things that I love. And I just constantly think that my hobbies and my work and everything like that is my identity. And it is to an extent, but I wanted to become the most authentic and best version of myself as well, and who I am as a human being. So that's something that really drew me to it initially. And what I saw on the ad was just be the best version of yourself. And it just drew me in. And Galaxy was something that I wanted to compete in for years. And I always applied, and then for some reason life got in the way and I never ended up going, which was really unfortunate at what I thought at the time. But now 4 years later down the track, after I entered Galaxy but only started competing in the system last year, I feel like now having the crown on my head, I knew that this was my time because I'd worked so hard to get here and I'd put so much energy into myself, but also bettering myself for the system because that's their motto. And so I'm just so over the moon and excited about obviously now coming out with the title, but something that I think Galaxy puts a lot of emphasis on too is the journey. We have 8 months, depending on when you apply, we have 8 months to prepare, which is quite a long time. It's quite a while. I entered straight away. As soon as the entries came out after last year, I was like, I am so definitely going back. So I had 8 months, and that 8 months was lots of dedication, lots of preparation, and lots of working on myself to get to that week. The week was just the icing on the cake. It was the fun part then. I knew I'd put in all the work to get here. And I think that's a really big difference of how I competed in pageantry this year, is that I put so much dedication and work into the lead up. And then I got there and I just had fun. And I had so much fun meeting all the girls, talking to everybody. I love the social media side of things. So I had so much posting every night. I loved that part, which is a little bit controversial, I feel, because I feel like some people get to the end of the day and they're like, oh my gosh, I have so much posting to do, but I love it. And I think, yeah, like it was just such a big difference and change in me that I saw and so many returning contestants saw as well. That, yeah, C will always be my second home and something that I love because it really grew me into being the best version of myself. And that's simply because I also put the work in.
I love that. And I've interviewed a couple women from the Galaxy system, and you guys all feel very similar about this system, which I think is a testament to how great of a pageant system it is. So that's fantastic that the Australia Galaxy system has been such a second home for you. And I think it means so much more when we find systems. I'm in International Ms., and I know I competed last year as well, and I was the same as you. I didn't even leave pageant weekend, and I was like, I'm coming back. And when you find a system that feels like that, it's so comforting, and I feel like it makes competing so much more fun.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
a
love that.
testament to the directors. Like we have the most amazing director Shakai, and we also have the most amazing international director Maria. So I'm so excited to finally meet her. But they just pour so much into the system, and you can really tell that they're so passionate and they love it and they want the best for their delegates. And I think that obviously makes a real difference in how their queens also portray, but also like the experience that you have throughout the whole journey, not even just the week.
It absolutely really rings true.
Mm.
And I'm excited to see how your journey to international goes. Where, when, and where are we going to see you compete on the international stage?
So, Galaxy Internationals will be from August 12th to 17th in Orlando, Florida. So, I'm so excited to go to Florida. It's been a bucket list place for me forever. So, I'm very excited to finally visit there. But yeah, I'm so overjoyed and excited. I can't wait to get back on the stage. It's only 6 weeks to go now, which is very exciting, but it's also a little bit intimidating because we're getting to the point now where it's crunch time. But I think I have put all I can into my journey, my preparations already. As an Australia Galaxy pageant queen, we only have a short 3 months to prepare for internationals. So it's quite a tiny window, but I feel like it's a little bit of I have found it really comforting and useful because I know that I can pour everything into those 3 months and that I'll be so prepared for the international stage.
It's also, I feel like sometimes the longer time spans between
Mm.
when you sign up and when you compete, it's driving me nuts because I did what you did. We had our internationals in September and I immediately signed back up again, but I didn't announce that I was returning until January. But now I'm not competing until January of next year. And so
Oh,
that
wow.
it's over a year now before I get to hit the stage again. And that wait is grueling. So I'm so envious of you because it exactly, it's brutal. And the fact that you won your crown, got to have your moment, and now you've got the 3 months. I mean, obviously you were very prepared in order to earn that crown because it's a very competitive system. So kudos to you. Your work shows, but to only have those 3 months and then to get to hit the stage, I'm very envious and I'm so excited for you. And I'm hoping that my schedule works out so I can be there to support the Galaxy Queens because I'm only about 2 hours away from Orlando.
Be so amazing.
One thing that you said that really struck a chord, and I think I personally needed to hear this, so thank you for saying it, was separating your identity and yourself from your accomplishments, your business, your hobby, and those things. Because that's something that I think I personally struggle with since I found pageantry. I'm always looking for my next accomplishment, my next thing that I'm going to do, my next way to boost my platform. And you do kind of get so wrapped up in that. And once you start, it's almost addicting. So, how did you find yourself separating from those hobbies and those businesses and those accomplishments? What did you do?
So it's been something that I've really worked on specifically this year, and it's a learning journey. I don't think we can ever master it, but personally, I am a university student. I'm second year into my degree. I run 2 businesses. I have my own platform. I'm now a Galaxy Queen. I'm a dance teacher. I have so much going on in my life that I'm constantly busy in an amazing way. I love everything that I do. And a really big goal for me this year was to find the moments where I can just be grateful, but also have that moment to myself. And I've really done that through a lot of reflection. So I've been journaling a lot this year, which is something that I think a lot of people say that they want to do, but never actually get to do it because it's a really big thing that you kind of have to make a habit. It's something that you can forget about really easily, but it's literally 2 to 3 to 5 minutes out of your day. And I've just found something that I can be grateful for every single day and write down something that I also love about myself. So there's a few little things I do. It's literally like 2 dot points, 2 sentences. And then I've also found the time to just find one day a week, a few hours where I can just go and do something that I love just for me. And I can shut my phone off and I can, kind of forget about everything else that's going on in my life. So I do that a lot through visiting the beautiful friends that I have now, which I'm so grateful for, especially coming out of my journey. I have the most amazing people in my life now. So one day a week, I'll just go and spend with them and I can kind of shut my phone off and not think about work or anything like that as much as I love it. And that's something that I've really helped to separate everything that's going on in my life from myself. And writing down those few things has helped me discover the things that I love about myself, the things that I know that I'm really good at, my strengths, my weaknesses. It's kind of helped me on my self-discovery journey, I guess. And then taking that just a little bit of time to myself to do something that I love each week has really helped me stay grounded and grateful for everything that I have.
It sounds like you've definitely kind of hit the key points for becoming confident and really embodying self-love, which is so huge. Part of my platform, I developed a self-confidence building method, and the acronym SELF stands for 4 parts. So since you are talking, I'm hearing some of these parts come out, and I love it, but I want to tell you what those 4 parts are and see which one you've really found to be the most important for your confidence. So the acronym SELF stands for self-care prioritized, which I just heard a ton of. I love that. Exercise your skills, so practicing to get progress, not perfection. Listening to positivity, so affirmations and speaking positivity into yourself so that you receive compliments better, but you also can block out the negativity easier. And F stands for fake it until you make it, and you will, because sometimes we all have those moments where we're like, I don't know if I can do this, and you just kind of have to push through and put all of your skills to the test and put on that brave face. So which one of those do you think resonates with you the most?
That is such a hard question because I feel like every single one of them resonates with me in like a different way in a different part of my life. And I think those are really beautiful examples of how we build confidence, because I loved what you said, progress, not perfection. And that's something that I've really struggled with throughout my own self journey, because I'm a perfectionist and I don't like using that word because nothing will ever be perfect, but I always strive for the best. And I've really had to learn that sometimes it's okay to just take things a little bit slower and nothing has to be done. I'm a little bit of a stress head, so I love, putting so much on my plate and then figuring out how to do it all. But everything always gets done, and I think that's, a really beautiful way to say it. I think, as you mentioned before, like the self-care is something that really resonates with me in finding my own identity and how I want to help others as well. But I also think the fake it till you make it is something that is really kind of, I don't know, it's something that resonates with me a little bit because of the fact that lots of feedback that I get is that everyone thinks that I have my life all together. I have, my 5-year, my 10-year plan. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And, I have so many things that I am really successful in. And I have so many things that I love and that I'm super passionate about. But that doesn't mean that I have it all figured out. Nobody ever has it all figured out. Like, we're all trying to figure it out just as it comes. And I think that's a big misconception also on social media, when we're constantly looking at people doing these amazing things and we don't actually see how long or how hard they worked to get there. And I think that's a big thing that I really resonate with, is that there's constant comparison on people achieving all these big goals in life, and that's absolutely amazing, but we don't actually see the progress in which it took to get there. So how can you compare your own life to theirs when you actually don't know how they got there? So I think the fake it till you make it thing is something that we all need to practice and be proud about practicing, because it's a quote that we all know, fake it till you make it. And I think a lot of people just kind of throw it around as like a little bit of a gimmick or a funny joke, but sometimes you actually just have to keep going and keep striving, and that's okay if you don't have it all figured out every day. But if you just keep going and keep striving towards your goals, you're gonna fake it until you make it. But I think every single one of those is super important towards confidence and having your own self-love journey and your own self-growth and self-worth. But yeah, that's one that personally resonated with me that I haven't really talked about, and you don't see people talk about a lot is that sometimes nobody has it figured out and we're all just doing our best to get up every single day.
I absolutely love that you took it the way it's intended to, because, and that's, I did it on purpose, because a lot of times people hear fake it till you make it and they think it promotes inauthenticity. And that's not the purpose of my fake it till you make it at all. You're never anything that you're not, but on those moments, because everybody, even the most confident people, have moments where they're nervous or their nerves kind of start to get the best of them. You know, you're standing backstage before you go on, and everybody has that moment of, am I going to nail this? You know, that confidence. And it isn't until you hit that stage and you've got that, like, I know what I'm doing kind of aura that helps you to achieve what you're trying to do. You know, you never see a confident or a pageant queen that's insecure. It just, if it's your time, you do what you've got to do to get that crown. So I love that you took it the way it's intended. And also, I agree that we don't talk enough about that portion of building confidence. When I competed last year, I think I had not taught any of my workshops yet. I had just started this podcast. I only had interviewed a couple people at that point. I had some really great ideas that I was starting to implement, and some of them not even at all. But I really wasn't there. But when I presented it, you didn't know that, you know, I had to push through. And that's how like you, I was second runner up. Mm-hmm. So I was in the top. So now this year, it was like I had this moment of, okay, I've gotten that close with just an idea. Now I've got to put it into play. And I think that's what a lot of people need to do, and also show that journey and what that looks like, because it is a process.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love that. Yeah, it's definitely not about not being authentic. We always want to be, as queens, the most authentic and best version of ourselves. But I think that's also just remembering and reminding other people that might be watching our journeys that sometimes we all have off moments. Like, there is definitely times where, you know, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I just keep going because it's the progression. But yep. I also have plans, and I have goals, and I have dreams, and I have so many things that I want to do with this title. But not everything that you see online in any aspect, not just me, anybody that's has a presence online, there's always things that you don't see, and it's because we're so confident and passionate about what we're doing that we're faking it till we make it.
I cannot agree more. And talking about my platform, I want to hear more about your platform. You have a very similar platform and goals. Tell us more about that.
So my platform is called For Every Beautiful Body. We are an online inclusive website platform for women and girls of all ages who are either healing or still going through their journeys of mental health, bullying, and body image, whatever that looks like for them. We have lots of resources available on this inclusive platform that is all in the one space for you, which is something that I really wanted to create, because when I was personally going through my own journey, I knew kind of that there was resources out there, but I found it very difficult to create them and find them all in an accessible space. And I think that gets very overwhelming for somebody going through that journey. I personally just wanted everything all in the once to be able to kind of do what I needed to do. And that's something that I wanted to create. So we have heart stories from girls all over the world of all ages, all journeys, that have gone through bullying, mental health, or body image issues of any shape or form. We have all of our helplines for all around Australia and the world. So if anyone's struggling, to be able to quickly access all of them in the most appropriate way possible. We also have all of my podcast interviews like this to kind of inspire other people on my journey and, you know, where I was and how I've gotten to where I am today. We have just started our YouTube series as well, which is something that I've been really working on for a little bit now, and something that I'm super passionate about because I personally love reading. But I also know that not everybody loves to kind of consume media in that form. So I really wanted to bring something that people could watch effortlessly and also resonate with. So as you said, very kind of similar goals in our platforms. But yeah, I've interviewed different queens, I've interviewed different professionals. We have lots more coming out in the next few months and obviously beyond that as well. But about their journeys and their stories and how they found their confidence and their drive, and something that I'm super passionate about, and a point of difference, I think, in my platform from what I have seen other resources out there, is that what we really strive to do is have the story told. We want to know the struggles that you went through and your whole journey, but we also want to know the light at the end of the tunnel at the end. And unfortunately, that is not something that everybody can tell, because sometimes we're still going through that journey. But something that I've really strived is to, have that kind of inspiration of and relatability in the story of the struggles that you went through, but also how you combated that and got out of it, to give people potentially watching the tools and the resources to be able to be inspired to do that themselves. So I'm so grateful of our social media campaign, our YouTube series, and our website platform. It's something that I've worked really hard to build and will be forever growing. But we've already had 200,000 views, which has been a huge exceeded goal of mine. It's been amazing. Yeah, over just the last 3 months. So it's something that's really working. It's something that lots of people are resonating with and really passionate about as well. And I also do lots of fundraising work for Batia, which is a youth mental health charity here in Australia. And they provide programs in universities and schools for young teens to be able to have the resources and knowledge to help them in their own mental health journey, but even help a friend. And that's something that I really love too, is that we always talk about our own journeys, but we also never know what anyone's going through behind closed doors. So something that I really love, that's a key point in their mission, is to have those resources for everybody to reach out and help a friend in need as well, and know what to do, because it can be a really hard point in anybody's life, especially if you're watching somebody go through that as well. So I have fortunately raised over 4,000 Australian dollars for them already, and we'll be holding Belle of the Ball charity gala next month on July 11th to raise more funds for them as well. So that's a snapshot of my platform and what we do.
I am obsessed with your platform. And to tell you how in line we are, one of the questions that I ask usually is, women need inspiration or light at the end of the tunnel. If I was to find your tunnel, what would your light at the end of tunnel be, or your accomplishment? So that is kind of crazy. It is very in line, and I 100% agree that putting that light at the end of the tunnel out there for others to find is so important. And there's not a ton of that. Kudos to you for doing that. That is huge. I absolutely am going to be going down a rabbit hole of your website and your resources, because I absolutely love everything that you're doing. And the inclusion aspect is really so needed, because outside of everything, as women, there are spaces. Pageantry is one of those spaces where sometimes inclusion is not where it should be. I think the pageantry community in whole is trying to get there, but it's a process.
Yes.
And as a woman that is very visible in the body positivity spotlight, very visible in representing women in their 30s and women that are curvy, hearing that it's an inclusive resource is so heartwarming, because we need those. We need to have more spaces where women and girls feel comfortable from all walks of life. So really, truly, what you're doing is life-changing, and I applaud everything that you're accomplishing. It's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something that I've really kind of curated to be that not every journey is linear. we all have
Yep.
we all come from different walks of life. We all have different journeys. We all have different influences. And so, being an online inclusive platform, the real goal is to know that you're not alone. Our real goal at the end of the day, is to show that other people are struggling, even if they don't talk about it. And we really pride ourselves on having girls that want to share who they are so that people can follow them, but we also pride ourselves on being an anonymous platform as well. So you can still share your story without having any strings tied to you. And that's something that I'm super passionate about, because sometimes people aren't ready yet, but they still want to inspire others. So I feel so grateful that people still want to share their story, even if they want to stay anonymous, because they still want to inspire others, but they might not just want to put a face to a name.
Is really important. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it creates a safety and a security for
Mm,
people. And
yes.
I want to say you've come so full circle. Just hearing your struggles with bullying that you were experiencing just years ago in the
Mm.
online atmosphere to now create a inclusive space of kindness and support and light, is does that feel as full circle as it sounds from the outside? Because I'd imagine that's a pretty crazy feeling.
It definitely does. When I was going through bullying, I ended up having to leave high school, unfortunately, and I moved into homeschooling. And for 10 months, I was confined to the walls of my bedroom. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. I lost all my direction in life. I had no hobbies. I had no friends. I had pretty much nothing. I had a beautiful family, a roof over my head, food on the table, but I had no drive or sense of purpose or life anymore, because I was so lost, because everybody told me that I wasn't good enough, or that I was too, not skinny enough, or I needed a nose job. And how do you think you can do modeling and run businesses at 13 years old? Coming from that, and now being so confident and not really caring what anybody thinks about me, and creating these spaces for girls to do the same, has something that I don't reflect on enough to go back and go, oh my goodness, that is crazy. And 3 short years from sitting in my bedroom not knowing who I was anymore because of other people's external opinions and influences, to now being a galaxy queen and having 2 successful international businesses, being at university in a new town, in a new school with beautiful friends. My life has completely changed. And that is going back to what I was saying at the beginning, because of the beautiful people that I had in my life, but also because of all the determination and self-growth through my own journey, because I didn't want to let other people control my life anymore.
That is amazing. And you definitely earn that reflection. You should 100% take the time to really process that, because that is no small feat. I mean, that is a huge feat at 18 years old to accomplish that. And when you said 3 short years ago, that is just mind blowing. So
Yes.
congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
And I'm excited to see how it continues to grow, because you have an amazing thing that is building now, and I really think it's going to be huge. So
Thank
kudos to
you.
you. That is fantastic. I love that. So I want to ask what your definition, something we've talked about a lot tonight, is confidence. So I want to hear what your definition of confidence is. And if you could speak to girls and women to give them a message, a shout out, or a key piece of advice, what would that look like for you?
Definitely. I think that I really love how you emphasize like your definition, because I think there's lots of different definitions of confidence for each individual person. I personally think that everybody has their own outlook on what actually confidence is and what it means to them. Confidence to me, and it's a word that I keep coming back to, is progress. have had so much progress and different life altering things being thrown my way that I have really had to find my confidence to get through those moments. And it's something that's constantly evolving and changing for me every single day. But it's also for me really accepting and loving everything about myself, even if it's something that I'm still working on or a potential weakness of mine. I do a lot of that through my self-reflection and my journaling, as well as writing something down that I love about myself every single day. And I really strive to have that not be um, kind of a cliche or something, an appearance feature. I love my hair. I love my eyes. I love, I put so much pride into my appearance, and I don't think that's something to be ashamed of either. Really, something about my soul and who I am. And, I love that I'm emotional. I love that I can connect with people, and finding those things that we really love about ourselves can really put a lot of confidence in ourselves, because it's that small time in your day where you can reflect. Because I guarantee you, a lot of people don't actually think, if they are intentionally writing it down, what they love about themselves unless somebody asks them. And for the average person, that's not something that's a normal question you get asked. Maybe in pageantry when you're in an interview, but it's something that, lots of people don't take the time to reflect on. And so that's been a really big part of my self-love and self-growth journey. And my confidence has come from within. My confidence has come from external influences having confidence and the strive to, stand beside me. Confidence is something that comes with progress. It doesn't come with perfection. I love that. I'm going to keep coming back to that. But it's something that's constantly ever evolving, and just taking a few moments out of your day to really think about who you are and what you love about yourself and what you can bring to the world, I think will make all the difference in building your own confidence or building somebody else up as well.
Agree completely.
Mm.
Teach Girl Scouts here in Florida my method as part of my platform. I have confidence crown workshops. And one of the questions that I ask them is what, if they've heard of confidence and what they think it is. And they always, there's 15, 20 answers every time. And I say, confidence is one of the only things that every person's definition in this room is accurate. It's your definition. So I think it's so funny that you picked up on me asking what your definition was, because that's something that I ask all the time. And you do get a different answer for each person. So it's a unique concept and word. It's a lot of fun. I think inspiring people to write down things that they love about themselves, and the journaling that you do is huge as well, because something that I encourage the young girls that I teach to do is I give them paper crowns and I have them start with a minimum of 3. I make it a competition now to see how many things these girls can write on their crowns that they love about themselves. But the condition is they have to be true and they have to be something that they wholeheartedly believe in. So the girls that are writing down like 60 things on their crowns, I'm like, okay, but do you believe every single thing that's on that crown? Because if you don't, it doesn't count.
Exactly.
But you really see from a young age these girls' gears start turning when you ask them to write down the things that they love about themselves. And I think sometimes the younger girls are a little bit quicker than us as we age. I mean, you're 18, I'm 32, and prior to me becoming who I am now, if you would have asked me to write down things I love about myself, I would have looked at you like you were crazy. I think what you're doing and what you're encouraging and putting out there and recommending to people is extremely helpful, because just taking that time to journal those things and to bring it to the forefront of your mind, if you are struggling with your self-love or your self-confidence, that's really going to highlight that. I mean, if you're sitting down trying to think of things you love about yourself and you're struggling, that tells you that, okay, we've got to get you somewhere, girlfriend, because if I can give you 5 things I love about you just meeting you, then we really want you to be able to do that same thing. So I love that. And I love that idea of encouraging people to do that. Something super fun that I do is I say, other than myself, what famous person would you designate as an honorary second chance queen and why? So if you could designate someone to join my ranks, who would she be?
I love that. Somebody that came straight to mind for me, and it's just the person that I'm going to go with because she came straight to mind, and my coach, Leah Dortman. She has just won Mrs. Universal Petite International, which has been an amazing journey to see her on. But she has come from so many different struggles and external things in her life that she has a very, I don't want to say similar story to me because they're completely different, but we had certain things that we resonated on, that it was the galaxy and pageantry kind of system that completely flipped our lives around. And she is just the most amazing woman. She now has her platform, Unstoppable Her, and she does so many amazing things with confidence and helping grow people from moments of PTSD and depression and anxiety and creating their best versions of themselves now. And she has just done a full 180. I've only known her since winning Galaxy, but I never would have recognized or knew that she went through all of those things by looking at her. And I think that's something that we really come back to when we're coming back to my point before about fake it till you make it, is that like I would have never have known her story or what she went through unless she told me. And it's just, yeah, her story is just absolutely incredible. And to see her now achieving so many things and living her life to the fullest has been a very inspiring thing for me personally, and she has helped me so much throughout my Australia Galaxy Pageants journey, and now seeing her go and win her international title has been so heartwarming to me. So I think that's a person that I would nominate because she really did have her second chance, and that was through the Galaxy system originally. So yeah, she's somebody that inspires me every day, and she's just amazing.
And I think honestly, you might be the first person to nominate someone that you know. Usually I get celebrities or people that have passed away, or, I've had like Anne Boleyn and Princess Diana. So this is the first time somebody has nominated someone that they know personally. And I think it also is a testament to supportive nature and who you are as a person and a title holder, which translates very authentically when you're speaking to people. But the fact that your mind immediately went to your coach and someone you know is fantastic.
I think
Awesome.
that's also a testament to, the people that I surround myself with. Because I'm very, now coming from my own journey, I am quite, I guess, particular with who I choose to be around, because it's something that I really want to put time and effort into, because I really believe that it really kind of changes the person you are too throughout, obviously, my journey, knowing that. But yeah, like there is so many celebrities that I could think of, or different people that I could have said, but I think at the same time, you also only see a snapshot of who they are and what they have been through, and knowing that, personally having somebody so close to me and other people so close to me that I could have said as well, you really get to see them through all of the stages. And I think that's what really inspires me, is that you actually get to see their whole journey and who they really are, rather than just who they are online.
That is such an honor for her that you thought of her too, because like I said, I've had so many people, but the fact that you chose her is really cool. It is, and something that you just said that people really need to hear is being particular about who you surround yourself with. I don't think that people are particular enough a lot of the time. And I think we're all guilty of that. I think it's a trap that we do fall into a lot as humans. But the fact that you are so particular, it speaks to your confidence and how much you value yourself. So you are definitely practicing what you preach. And that is a fantastic example to set.
Thank you. No, I definitely believe that it kind of controls not controls, but it definitely influences the person you are and how you walk every day, and how, your self-worth and self-love. So I definitely think it's something that needs to be practiced more often, and we're all guilty of it. I've already been guilty of it, but now that stepping out of that journey and coming into this new era of life that I've been facing the last few years, I am very particular because it definitely takes a toll on who you are every single day. So if you can eliminate that, your life will be so much better.
I adore that. Is there a specific event that you would consider being a catalyst for becoming the resilient person that you are today?
There's so many things I could think of. I'm gonna do this one because I think that was my big turning point, but it also is a big pivotal part of my journey that I've only recently started sharing in the last year. And on my last day of school was on my birth, and that day was a really tough, terrible day on my 15th birthday. And I won't go too much into what happened because I don't want to trigger anybody in that sense, but I had some really horrible things happen to me on my birthday by lots of people that I considered to be my friends. And it was a big risk, and it took a lot of courage to say to my parents that I do not feel safe at school anymore. I do not want to be here. I actually really loved school. I loved learning, but it was not a safe environment for me to be in anymore. And so that being on my birthday was also very eye-opening because your birthday is essentially what we deem it in society now as something that everybody is supposed to celebrate you on that day. And I got the total opposite. And the total opposite in the sense that it was an unsafe environment. So that was a really pivotal point for me to say I can't do this anymore. And that was something that a big step that I had to take for my own mental health and my own safety. And I'm so lucky and fortunate that I have the most amazing and supportive parents and family. I also want to preface that I'm very aware that lots of people don't have that, and that's something that can be really unique and difficult in your own journey. But I just was so lucky that I did have that support system close knit around me to be able to do those things and leave that school and move towns. But I also think that coming out now, my birthday is my favorite day of the year. I love my birthday. But I think it's turning those traumatic experiences and days into learning curves and lessons. And that's what has really made me resilient, is also having the courage to stand up for myself in those times. And I have now come out now where that is the last thing on my mind when I ever think about anything that ever happened to me. And it was a really pivotal point in my journey because it was finally the time where I chose to put my foot down, not my parents, not the school, not anybody like that. It was the time where I said that I'd had enough. But now coming out now and now knowing my boundaries and who I surround myself with is something that made me really resilient. And it wouldn't be anything that I wish on anybody ever, but turning those things into powerful moments of your own self-growth journey is something that I've practiced a lot, which made me resilient.
That is very important. And I love now that you've also built a resource where if people don't have the support system that you had, they now have a resource to support them is incredible. And you are so brave for sharing that with us. So thank you. And I love that you've turned it not only into a powerful moment for you and transformation for you, but also transformation for the world.
Mm.
It takes so much effort to survive a trauma. It takes so much more effort to heal from that trauma, but it takes a very special amount of effort to heal from it and then turn it into healing for others. And that's something that not everybody has the ability to do. And, some people just want to survive. Some people want to heal. Some people want to thrive. Some people want to change. And you are a change maker. And that is a huge thing that we need in this world. So I'm so excited for everything that you're accomplishing because of those hard moments. So thank you for sharing and creating something for other people to have the safety that you were fortunate to have, but other people may not be.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Of course. Well, is there anything left unsaid, a message that may be left unsaid, or awareness for something that you want to raise, or a shameless plug? I know you have a big event coming up that you said you're going to be hosting. Whatever you want to say to the listeners, whatever information or message you want to put out there, I would love to hear it.
Thank you. Well, I think my biggest piece of advice, and I think it's something that is so simple but so effective, is just go for it. Just do it. Just do anything you want, because so many people say, and it's something that I personally don't resonate with or don't live by, is that waiting for the right time. I don't ever believe there is a right time. I don't know what a right time is, but in my opinion, there will never be a right time. So if you're waiting for something, you're probably going to be waiting the rest of your life. And it's constant, I guess, redirection or excuses that you're making for yourself unintentionally about waiting for the right time. So anything you want, this relates to anything, whether it's in pageantry, in work, in, your own personal journey, in buying something you want, whatever it is, just do it. Just go for it, because, there never will be a right time. And I think that really resonates to everything. And something else that in my own personal journey, and something that I really live by, is that age is just a number. I get lots of backlash not backlash, that's probably not the right word. I get lots of criticism on being 18 and doing all of the things that I do. And I constantly get the quote of, why aren't you living a normal teenage life? And to me, I just think that, you can be any age to do whatever you want. You're never too old, you're never too young. If you have that journey and that drive and that direction, just do it. And that's what that comes back to as well. And I think something that we all need to practice a little bit, and everybody is guilty of it, I'm guilty of it, is that when you talk to somebody that's young, actually think and reflect on how you think of them as a person just because of their age. I get lots of people talk to me and they think that I know nothing. They think that I have no knowledge, no experience, because I'm 18 years old. So next time you're talking to a young person, I encourage you to sit back and actually listen to them in what they have to say, because I guarantee you they actually will know a lot.
I think that is very important for people to hear. Number one, I do have to say that you do not present as an 18-year-old. I forgot that you were 18, honestly, for most of this conversation, because you are so wise beyond your years. But I think that does come with resilience. And I myself was bullied extremely bad in middle and high school. And it changes you from a very young age. When you experience severe bullying, I had PTSD as a teenager because of some of the things that I went through. And I'm sure you probably have experienced similar mental health struggles because of it. And people don't realize how fast track that can cause. I mean, your brain kind of fast tracks to the future when you're in those kinds of situations. So I think it's important for people to hear. And I 100% also echo the sentiment of age being just a number, because a lot of my journey didn't start until I was over 28 years old. I was 28 when I left domestic abuse and completely started my entire life over. And over the past 4 years, I've gone from, leaving a 10-year abusive situation to thriving in building this life that I'm so proud to have. And I almost didn't do it because I was 28 and I had spent so much time in that space that I didn't think I could. So I think getting that message out there is something I've been trying to accomplish as well. And I loved hearing you say that from the other end of the spectrum. We have a decade of difference between us, but both being able to say age is just a number is a really cool message. So thank you for saying that and sharing that. I think a lot of people need to hear that.
I definitely think it's a big message that I try and portray because, you know, I own for example, like I own a formal wear shop in the main street of my hometown, and it's an international label as well, but we have our boutique there, and my I work with my mum, so we own the business together. And, you know, somebody will walk in and, you know, if I greet them or, you know, I try and serve them, they will automatically gravitate towards my mum. And it's something that I see every single day, and I'm guilty of it. I'll walk into a shop and sometimes I think the young person won't be as qualified, but it's so crazy to see in everyday life those little habits that we can just change and just think about. I'm just going to sit back for a bit and just think about that. But yeah, I think it's beautiful that, you know, as you said, we're on totally opposite ends and you can resonate with that too. So I think it's something that just do it, and age is just a number. They go hand in hand, but I feel like they can resonate with everybody in some sort of way.
We have a lot of parallels because I also own a business with my mother that I've been doing since I was 15. So
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 17 years, and people still will say, you look just like you sound just like your mother. You know, where's your mother? And I'm like,
Me.
she retired.
No, I
You're
love my
looking for me.
My mom's the best. She's the best person ever. I love her. She's my best friend. We are so
I love
close.
that.
I just think it's so funny that just in those little walks of life that you see every single day, automatically somebody think that the older person is the more qualified. And she's definitely more qualified in some sort of roles in the business, but I do a lot of the other side as well. So there's just different things that we're good at, and automatically that's perception in people's minds. So I think that's something that I'm really trying to change.
I think it's really important because people don't really understand those micro
Mm,
instances where they're kind of portraying something, or I guess putting something out there, a belief that's not necessarily the case.
mm.
So, and calling that to it people's attention, society won't change if we don't realize we're doing it. So, that is very important to bring to the table, and I
Break the
appreciate that.
stigma.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for everything tonight. You may only be 18 years old, but you have added so much insight and such a perspective that I think those of all ages need to hear. So, thank you so much for sharing your journey and your knowledge with us. And I'm excited to see how internationals goes for you in August.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and obviously everybody listening as well. But yeah, I'm so grateful for jumping on and sharing everything with you. It's been great.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on tonight's episode of the Second Chance Queen podcast with Isabelle Kratz, who is an absolutely a powerhouse, game-changing teen from Australia. I'm so excited to see what she brings to the international competition for Galaxy and the way she represents her country. She's a phenomenal young woman, and at 18 years old, with everything that she's accomplished, she is going to be an absolute powerhouse to watch for the future. So please follow her on social media so you can watch her journey to internationals, and also take a look into her platform. She has such an astounding resource for everybody that will be linked as well so that you can find it easily. And I hope you enjoyed getting to know Isabelle Kratz as much as I did. Thank you for listening. And remember, I'm your second chance queen. You always have a second chance. You just have to be willing to take it.